Hello, everyone.
Hi, welcome to Paranormal Surge.
How you doing today, Gwen?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Looks like we're going to get another storm again tonight.
Wow.
That is for sure.
Yeah. We have a great guest tonight.
Yes, we do. Yes. I'm tongue-tied a little bit. Our guest tonight is Mr. Bill Slevin.
I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Welcome on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Vi and Asia and several other people who hadn't piped up yet, but thanks everybody for joining us. And
my wife and my manager.
Okay, there you go. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
They're backing you up, so that's great.
V is my wife, just to clear it up.
He was just talking about you, and it was all good.
Yeah.
And I talked to Asia earlier today. So.
Yeah. It's great when you've got a wife that will back you up and support you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's part of my team, but she doesn't investigate. She's a Reiki master, energy healer. So she works with some of our clients that need energy work.
That's
so
great.
She'll be part of a case, but she doesn't like the investigating part.
That's okay. She's got her part, and it's important. It is very much that. We are both into the Reiki, so yes. So
yeah, she got to deal with me after I'm on investigation. So
she didn't put you in the man cave and just shut the door.
No. Maybe after she cleanses me and
there you go. There, she watches after you. So, well, for anybody that's watching that does not know even briefly who you are. Hi, Susan. Why don't you tell everybody about you? What would you like us to know?
Sure. So I'm a paranormal investigator, researcher,
Mhm.
parapsychologist, demonologist, and educator. I've been in the field for just over 36 years now. I'm the founder of, yeah, she always is. I'm the founder of the Paranormal Existence Research Society. That's my team. We're based out of Florida, South Florida, but I have people all throughout Florida, Georgia, Nebraska, New England, UK, Italy, Greece, and this year we'll be starting in Brazil, where my wife's originally from. So we
That's
have
awesome.
a team. Yeah, we have a team we're setting up over there with some amazing people. So it's going to be a really interesting experience over there.
That's gonna be pretty cool, especially being over to Brazil. Are you going to be able to travel over there and meet with those people as well?
I would assume, yeah, at some point. I've met some of them before. They were here for a convention they did in Orlando back in October. So I met some of them when they were up there, and my wife knows them from over there. And they're some of the most known people in Brazil that have to do with psychics and paranormal and UFOs.
Oh, wow.
And they're really great people, and we have some really interesting things coming together that I'll be announcing probably later this year.
That's awesome.
That is. Now, are any of them your wife's family?
No.
That kind of okay. Just
No,
curious because you know how that is sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's generational, but no, it's not with them.
Okay.
Well, it's definitely good that you've already met them and know what they're capable of doing. I know you've got a team of your own, right?
Yes. Yeah, we have people all over, and they said they don't have a lot of people there that do residentials. There's a lot of, maybe ghost hunters, that go around and do public stuff, but they didn't have a lot of residentials, so they wanted to do a branch of my team over there to help people over there too, in the way we do it here. We're a little different than some people, so
Right.
they want to bring that over there, and because they really like what we're about and how we help people, and we know it's not all ghosts and demons all the time, and
Oh, most definitely.
Some people think they are, but it's not.
Yes.
Not. That's great. You have a big reach then. That's cool.
Yes.
Didn't you say the UK also, or did I?
Yeah, I have a team member who travels between Italy, Greece, and the UK, and has people all over, so that when depending on where she is and what she's doing, we have teams running over there.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it works out good. We got a lot of people, and then I met a lot of people, having been part of the Warren Legacy Foundation for 3 years, and now with the new Warren Society coming out that we'll explain in a future time. But there's a lot of good people that we work with and that we network with that help us. People. That's one thing a lot of teams I don't think understand. Reach out for help when you need help. We have tons of people and teams that we work with that, even somebody like me who's been doing this, almost 4 decades. There's things I come across I don't know. I have to reach out to somebody who might be more of a specialist in, a generational curse or somebody,
Right.
So there's so many people out there, and there's a lot of people willing to help. We have a team local in Florida called War Party Paranormal that are just fantastic people. We work with them constantly. They invite us to all their stuff. We invite them to our stuff, and they're just good people. There needs to be more of that.
There does.
Well, I definitely agree. There needs to be more communication among the teams and be able to work together because, there's too much drama in this field, which I think needs to go as well. So
yeah. We're not in competition with anybody. We're here, the more we get known, it's to help people and to further the industry. It's not just for, just fame. It's a totally different thing. And, again, I've been doing this for so long. I was never out in the spotlight for a long time. It's only been the last 6+ years or so that I put myself out there, and I did it more or less that. One of the biggest things, and I don't know how much residential you guys do. If one of the biggest things we have a problem with is convincing people that they're not haunted.
Oh.
It is
Yeah.
the hardest thing to do. And a lot of them, it's because they see people on TV every week and they assume they're the experts that know what they're doing, which
Right.
I'm not discrediting any of them, but a lot of times, what they're seeing on TV is very different than what's real. So, trying to convince them. And so by having us out in the spotlight a little more and being a little more known, it kind of gives us a little credibility with them, where maybe they're a little more to, believe us at times, because it really is the hardest thing. I mean,
It is.
Yeah. I've actually
I
done a lot of residentials myself, more than I have done places in general. And
Right.
it is, you're right, to convince them sometimes that there isn't nothing there at all. And it's just something that's going on, that's their house settling, or this, or, the vibration of a train coming across, it makes the glass jump across their table,
Right. Yeah, there's so many things, and I talk about that like when I do my lectures and stuff. I have a lot of cases I talk about and different things. I mean, there's so many things we found. People, we're hearing noises in the walls, and things are knocking and scratching, and now we're smelling, a rotting smell. So right away they think demon. And
Right.
in one house, they had somebody come in, open up the walls, and they found a dead possum in the wall.
Ooh.
Which was originally the noise and then the
Right.
smell.
Yeah.
And it's things like that. Sometimes they get mad at us when we bring up things like that, or hey, did you have an electrician come in, because they're talking about the lights are flickering,
Yes.
and they like get mad at us, like they think we're going to discredit them once we say that. And it's like, no, that's the easiest thing to determine. Have the electrician come in and check your wiring. If he says it's okay, now we know where to go with it.
Right.
They don't understand that part. Problem is 70 to 80% of our cases are mental health, addiction, fear, a lot of different things. And we try to help them so that we can get them whatever help they need. We don't want to push anybody in a certain direction, but we're going to tell them what we believe and try to help them if we think it's, sometimes they will get annoyed with us if we ask them for psychiatric evaluations or medical evaluations. They don't have to do it. It's just sometimes if we feel there could be something there, we want them to get that checked out, because we don't want to give them the wrong advice.
Right.
We don't want to give them the wrong help. Sometimes they don't understand that, just because you tell us, oh, you happen to be schizophrenic, that doesn't mean we're going to go, there's your problem. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes they're more attacked than other people.
Right.
The things attached to them a lot easier. So those are some of the things we deal with a lot. And, it's just that.
Have you had a group that has come in before you guys and told them just, yeah, I see it. Yeah. Let's say things that aren't proven. There you go.
Yes.
And then you have to come in
cases.
clean up. Yeah.
A lot of the cases. If a case has come in and they say they have had a team there, we most likely know we're going to have an issue. It's once somebody, because people are very influenced when they call a team, they're expecting you to be, I know people don't like the term experts, but they're expecting you to be a professional and expert in what you do, a knowledgeable person, let's say, in what you do. So if you tell them, oh, I believe there's a portal in here and it could be a demon, and somebody else now is going to have a really hard time getting that out of their head because they're influenced by you. That's why it's very important to be very careful. We don't tell clients anything. Like when we do a Zoom call, like say for the initial interview, for the intake, they will never know who on my team is psychic or has certain abilities, because if they know that, okay, this person is one of our best psychics, they're going to stick to every word that person says. It's just one of those things where you really have to be cautious on what you do. If you think it is something, you can't just blurt it out to them, because it's, I teach my team that some of the people who maybe don't have as much experience as some of the other ones, don't yell out like, oh, I think that's something if they play an audio clip or they send a picture, because we weren't there. Like, we'll analyze it. I've been in IT field for 33 years. So I'm very knowledgeable of how to analyze photos and videos and audio. And, I'm not saying I'm right all the time, but I know how to analyze them and what causes certain things. But if you right away tell them, oh yeah, that's something, then forget trying to get it out of their head ever. We're not there. So their photos, their videos, their things like that is great. We want to see it because we want to know what's going on, but we can't judge that as something because we were not there. It was not a controlled environment. We don't know what was going on, who was in the next room, who was outside, Right. So it's one of those things where it's just a little tricky. I would say don't go throwing everything out at the clients,
Right. I think you think like I do, you want to go in with your team and then you do your investigation part of it and try to debunk as much as you can of it. Right. So like if they walking across the floor, is that the one that's opening the door, like a floor joist that's out of the way? Or like I said, electrical wiring causing some issues of the flashing lights. You got to start breaking it down where some people just don't do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things, like even with the equipment, when we go out, when we're in public places, we test a lot of the equipment. We work with things on what sets it off, and there's things even I can't fully explain as a tech sometimes, like a REM pod. We know a REM pod, you have to get in to the field to set it off. Right. Now, of course, a hard vibration will rattle it, but if you push the talk button on a walkie-talkie, it sets off the REM pod.
Yes.
And I'm assuming it's a signal sending it through the thing that's breaking the field, but I have never been able to fully explain that. It's little things like that you just have to look at. I tell people, all the equipment is great, if you want to play around with it, but learn how the equipment works. Just don't buy it and go out and turn it on and see what it does. Learn how it works. Learn what sets it off naturally. So, if it goes off, learn like, what should I do next? Should I change the battery? Should I move the location? Should I do things like that to just test it and learn how it how it operates. That's more important. You can have a million pieces of equipment. I have a ton. It's a very bad thing to be in the paranormal field and be in the technology field. It's real bad. Yeah. Because you want to try everything. I don't use 90% of it in a person's home. We only use very basic things in a house. We don't use all this stuff. I'm not going to go in, throwing around SLS cameras and tell people they have something because I got a stick figure on their chair. I can't do that. So we don't use a lot of the equipment in the house, but I love playing around with it and learning what it does. And,
exactly.
That's all.
Now, do you guys, I know you teach also, when you do that and you get your, like, say, new members, do you always say, hey, put your phone either off or on airplane mode? Do you guys do that before you go in?
We do. It sometimes they'll have it on to do we very rarely do lives from our stuff. But you never know. Sometimes we do work with people who will go live. I don't mind, but yeah, I try to teach them, keep the phones off as much as possible. Some people do use audio recorders off of it. I'm fine with an audio recorder. I don't condone using your phone really for much. Stay away from phone apps. If I see anybody on my team using a ghost phone app, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. I can't look. If you want to, I take that back. If we're on a public investigation and they want to pull them out and see what they do, I'm all for that. See what it does. But I know as a technology guy that those are programmed to produce responses. There's so many things with the apps that people don't understand, that some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them use GPS to know. Yep. I wouldn't take credibility and evidence from any app, but not all of them do what I'm about to say. Some of them use GPS to know where you are. They use active listening to know what you're asking, and they use AI to respond to you. So and then it's the simplest thing is like take Spirit Talker, okay, which mimics an Ovilus. Now an Ovilus too, I don't take into full consideration. If it goes along with what you're asking and it's something very different, and then we'll look at it and it's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
But if you put on Spirit Talker and just hit start and just walk away and come back, it will have a 20-minute conversation. I mean, it's just there to, and a lot of times it's, dark answers and evil answers and scary answers. And,
Right.
it's, you could take it with a grain of salt, because there, again, could it be something? We don't know. There's times it could be, but like I said, if you sit that there and put it down and just let it run, it will just have conversations with itself. You don't even need to be there. You don't need to be in the room, and it's going to come up with all kind of crazy stuff, and why people think a $3 phone app is going to do something that great. They wouldn't be selling it for $3,
True.
I do like to try them, and there is one that honestly, things that I hear without any equipment, I do hear the same voice that I hear with just me,
right,
on this one app. But I don't rely on that constantly. My favorite thing is a flashlight.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
If look, the thing with the apps, it's like I said, it's not that it can't be. It's just that there's I'm going to go in and debunk for stuff like that, especially when it comes to technology.
Right.
And I've worked with people who've created apps, not ghost apps, but apps. So I know what apps do, and they're programmed. So the thing is, it's just there's too many negatives against it, to be 100% sure of something.
That's
well, there's nothing 100% sure, but to be for that to come through and say, oh, that was definitely your grandmother, I wouldn't go by the app. I would go more by, a psychic or somebody you have there that's gonna confirm the app. If you have somebody that can sit there and confirm what's coming across the app, that's a little bit of a different story. But but then again, you have to know that person.
Is there any piece of machinery or devices that you actually like to use yourself?
Audio, EVPs on old audio recorders are just my favorite, because it's the least amount, in my opinion, of interference. Like, I do have a DR60 and I do play around with it, and we have gotten some absolutely amazing captures on the DR60. But you have to understand that 80% of it probably is jumbled garbage that, again, could it be something? It could be something that we just can't make out. But we also know that the recorder has a flaw, and it does make a lot of noise. So if you can decipher the difference between them, I think audio is the best, because a lot of these old audio recorders we use, you can't even, it's really hard to even get them onto a computer to manipulate them and things like that, where a lot of other stuff you can manipulate and you can alter. Like I said, you can sit there with a REM pod and you don't know if somebody's standing behind the person pushing the walkie-talkie button, and setting it off. You have no idea. So audio, I think, is the best.
How about cassette audio? The old.
Yeah, I have some of them.
I'd love to get my hands on some of them.
Yeah. The only problem you have with cassettes is it's hard to buy new ones, and you really need to use new tapes every time, because once you erase them, there's particles of there sometimes still on the tape that could come through. That could make it a little
order
tricky.
them, but sometimes they're a little pricey. Now, how about the old-fashioned Polaroid pictures? Have you tried? I love those.
Those are great. Those are great.
But those are expensive too.
Yeah, exactly. Photos are good. It's just again, it's knowing how to use it and what to look for and what causes things. So it's just learn the equipment. You'll have a great time. I look at it this way: would you rather? This is a question that some people just don't like to answer. But would you rather just capture everything and not know what it is, or get that one or two good captures that really could be something. There's a big difference, like we were saying, I was joking with you before about orbs. So, I'm one of the people that talk about this a lot, and I hate to point it out to people. People hate me on the groups because I discredit all their photos with the orbs. But, the point is there are real orbs. They're very different. They're very, very rare. I've seen 3 in my lifetime, and you see them with your eyes. So I'm explaining to these people how scientifically, or, however you want to say it, that they do appear on, from dust and bugs and all that kind of stuff. But
yes,
it's better to know it. It's not that I'm trying to discredit somebody, because I'm never disrespectful to them. I'm always like educational, because I want them to understand why I'm saying it and what's causing it, so that they know what to look for. I don't know. Right. That's just me. I rather look and say, oh, wow, this is something that I can't explain, than I have 400 pictures of orbs, So, I just, a lot of people don't want that. They just want confirmation of what they believe,
I kind of agree with you, as in the fact of that I don't like chasing orbs myself. And like you said, they are very rare.
Yeah. And
they really are.
Yeah, that's why I explain to people what they are and how they're captured. And I say the same thing. Could some of those things be spirits? I mean, nobody knows 100%, but I always say the paranormal is the unexplained. And if I could explain it, it can't be paranormal. So I can explain those things. An orb is solid energy, so it cannot be transparent. It can't be transparent, can't be translucent, and it doesn't reflect light. It has its own light. So all that stuff they see on the infrared cameras can't be orbs. If a real orb came into a room, it would actually trick your camera into daylight mode. It would be like turning the lamp on in a room. And, I tell people, once you see it, you'll understand.
I had that happen one time, and it took me a little bit to figure out that is what had happened, because we weren't seeing the orb. We were seeing, like I said, I have seen, I believe, that one. And now I have evidence, like a lot of folks, I have evidence sitting in the computer and everything, just waiting. And but that I did that one time, and that was what triggered it. And somebody brought that to my attention. Well, it flipped it, maybe.
The problem is TV, YouTube, and even like ghost tours and stuff. They promote orbs a lot. And I have nothing against it. There's two things. There's paranormal entertainment. There's two different things.
Yes.
And I understand that you go on a ghost tour, and the more people capture orbs on the ghost tour and show all their friends, the more people are going to come to the tour, which is fine. And I understand it, but I'm just never going to lie to them. When people come up, people come up, like when I'm doing a show, I'm a guest at a convention or something, and they come up to me, and I see them, like they're waiting in line behind people, and I see them like scrolling through their phone. I'm like,
and you're like,
here we go.
Phone.
And they'll come up and they'll be like,
orbs.
yes, they're like, hey, I want your opinion, and I cover their phone, and I go, I'm gonna be very honest with you. So just understand that if you're ready to accept what I'm gonna say, I'll look at it, but I'm gonna be very honest with you. Of course, sometimes it's hard if you get a young kid that's all excited and running up going, look what I got. I can't
that excitement.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You don't want to detour his intentions on probably being a paranormal investigator in the future.
Right. I want him to understand what's real, but I can't do that to like a little kid or somebody that I see, that's really excited about something. I can't cut them. I won't tell them that it is something, but I won't tell them that it's not. I'll just say that's an interesting picture, or maybe something. I'll go along with something, but I will tell them if I think it's something for sure. But the groups, the Facebook groups, those are the only people I think you'll find out there that talk crap about me. Is some of those groups, they really don't like me.
If they're talking crap about you, maybe they're a little bit jealous.
Or you're doing something right.
Or you're doing something. Yes.
I'm discrediting their photos, and they all get worked up. And I understand. I stepped way back. I used to be on those groups a lot because I wanted to help people. And honestly, I've gotten a lot of cases through those groups, because, oh my God, some of the things people tell people. I've seen people on
make
there
your head hurt.
Oh God, it does. It's not even the person, it's the people that are giving them advice that is the worst things I've ever heard in my life. I've seen people come on there and post pictures and somebody's like, oh my God, that's a demon. Get your family out of the house. You're going to scare the crap out of them.
Right.
And but then sometimes you get people that are like the original person going, wow, that would be cool. No, it wouldn't really.
No,
but,
it would not.
It definitely would not. But I've had people that wound up being clients because I had to go and DM them and say, listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but don't listen to these people. I got people telling them, hey, go out and buy paranormal equipment and try to communicate with it. No, don't do that. Somebody told a guy, go to the sink, get a glass, fill it with water, say a blessing over it, turn it to holy water, and then bless your house. It doesn't quite work like that.
It don't.
It's not that easy.
No. That's not really holy water, and that's
doesn't work the same way.
What the part that they don't. Yeah, and the part they don't realize with that, and this is coming from somebody being a demonologist for 30 years. If you have holy water, let's say you went and got real holy water,
legit,
and you think there's something in your house, and you start blessing the house and saying prayers with it, if that is something demonic, which is rare, but if it is something demonic,
right,
it's now going to come out. And what are you going to do? It's not going to go away because you threw holy water. It's now going to come out, and you're going to have to deal with it, and that's not a good idea.
Yeah, it's not going to be happy about the holy water either. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
most definitely. I mean, you're just aggravating the problem if it is there, and like you said, it's a rare occasion that a demon would be there to begin with. But like you said, if it was, you're just making a big issue right there.
Right. That's something we do to find out if it is. So you don't want to do that. It's definitely not a good idea. But there's a lot of mixed things out there from people.
And the Ouija board. Oh wow.
Yeah. But it's all good. Like I said, I don't like that. People are lying out there on show like YouTube things and stuff where they're making all false statements up because it is confusing people, but like the shows and everything too. I tell people, a TV show, any of them, some of them are real investigators. They're in real haunted locations. They're using real equipment. So it's not like they can't get anything, but I know a specific show that I'm not going to name that I know they take 22 days to film an episode. So all that time, a lot of it is interviews and things and whatever, but there's multiple nights inside the place. So they're going to take that and cut it up into their 45 minutes, and give you all the best things. People don't understand. We go out in 10, 12 hours sometimes and get nothing. You need a lot of patience to really be in this field. You get a lot of nothing at time.
True.
That's one of the things when I like to do when I go out on investigations. If I go live, what you see is what we're seeing live, and then you have a chance to comment. Say, hey, what was that just went by? So then I could debunk it if I didn't see it or they seen it. And it's authentic right there. There's no second guessing it. That's one of the things I like to do because going back and editing it. No, I don't do that either.
Yeah. And, if you're live doing it, you have people that can see some things that you can't see that could actually say, well, no, something fell over there. You didn't see it. So now that's what that noise was. It's something that, you got to keep in mind with everything. But, I mean, look, I watch all the shows and I watch them. They're all entertaining.
Of course.
I have nothing against them. I've been on some shows, but I'm not going to go on and fake stuff. I'm not going to go on and do that,
But see, I like doing lives, but because you can different views, different people. But we even do it for classes, and it's. I think it's great because we like the last one we did. We had somebody say, "Hey, that cabinet over there, it opened," and we were all we didn't see it, we didn't hear it. Sean, do you remember that it just opened? And that was one of the things that we didn't tell anybody that would happen in the house. The cabinet would open. And sometimes if it would close. But they saw it and they were like, oh, and some of them got really excited. But that's cool. The fresh meat excitement, or as we call them, bait sometimes, we jokingly, and they go, what?
I tell people too, the best evidence isn't captured. It's always when the camera's not running, the battery died. You shut everything off. It happens a lot. It really does. It's frustrating.
What if you're afterwards you're sitting there and everybody's having, hey Lee, that's our CEO, Lee Triana. Hey, that's my sis. So what if you're sitting there afterwards and everybody's cooling off and having a water, my case Dr. Pepper. And then something happens and there's nothing on. And everybody goes, did that just happen? Did that just happen? Yes, it did. Of course it did.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it happens when you're starting to set up and get ready and everything happens then. And then nothing's on.
Yeah. Happens a lot. It really does. I mean, and there's days like we have this place. I'll just say, I can't say what it is. It's just because it's it was a psychiatric facility. And we've been investigating it recently multiple times, and it's amazing. Sometimes we have a lot of activity, and sometimes we have absolutely nothing. nothing. I'll tell you a funny story with my wife. Like I said, she doesn't come to investigate, but we were going to this place, and she knows that we have full access to this place. So she knows, like you guys know, obviously, what the Estes method is with spirit box.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you know the Delco experiment with the Delco goggles?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm good friends with Mike Del Coro. So I've had those goggles for a while, and they're great. So she's seen the videos like of us doing this, and she said, I don't fully believe that the person can't hear you, and I don't believe that the voices coming through aren't just from the radio, which is understandable. A lot of people say I'm honored to be on.
Thank you.
So she said one night, she goes, I want to come and I want to do that. She goes, I'm not staying all night, but I want to come and do that. And I was like, all right, and I use the real stuff. I have Vic Firth headphones, that are real noise canceling headphones. And I use the S box from Ghost Stop. It's just, I like it. It's a lot louder. It has a lot of different features to it. I like.
Right.
She was kind of blown away by it. She said she could not believe, and she was right. She could not hear. You can hear some mumbling sometimes, but nothing that you can make out what we're asking or what we're saying. And she was surprised by the voices that she was hearing. And then when she talked to us and watched some of it back, the direct responses that she had to our questions kind of surprised her, But the strange thing about that was we were having a lot of activity, and then she left, and then a bunch of us stayed there for like another few hours. And when I tell you we had absolutely nothing at all happen after she left. I actually got nervous. No, I got nervous. I said, holy crap, I called her home, I called her home. I'm like, oh no. But nothing went on. And like my recorder, and again with the DR60s, like I said, you get a lot of static. And you get a lot, and we were getting a lot all night. When she left, I did not get one speck on there. Like every, how they record by they only record when they hear something, they're on voice activation. So if it gets nothing, even when it doesn't get that static, you'll just hear question after question after question. And that's what it was doing the rest of the night. There was not even a second in between. It wasn't capturing anything. It was like once she left, everything shut up.
So that
she needs to go more.
Yeah.
So So that kind of leads me to an interesting question since you brought that up, because my mentor is a Reiki master and she's taught me stuff in Reiki as well. And we'd be at certain locations and nobody would get a response when me and her are around. But when we left, they would start getting responses. Do you think it's because of the people, the way we are with our energy?
Yeah, it could be anybody. I mean, we have that just with team members. You know, you'll have a specific team member there that might get more energy and more responses. That's why we'll say, hey, you ask questions now, or somebody else want to ask questions. Or sometimes it's the person, sometimes it's just they want to only talk to one person, but sometimes it's definitely the energy. Their energy comes in and it collides with the energy of the spirits in there. And sometimes it could be positive or negative, you know. I definitely believe that it can, you know. It's just like, you know, how a lot of people use EM pumps. I'm a little tossed with that, you know, because what you're doing is you're pumping the room full of EMF energy,
Right.
which is what they use to communicate. So if you pump the room full of energy, yes, they have a lot more energy that we believe that they can use to communicate with. But on the other hand, you have a million devices that are sensitive to EMF energy. So if you pump the room full of energy, all your devices are going to start going off, you know.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a mix there with that, but people's energy is different, you know. And yeah, I believe that. I believe they can definitely shift the energy in the room.
Yeah,
you know, but
like
you left and it died.
That's. Oh, I bet she was like, see?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't call her at first. I didn't want to scare her and be like, hey, when you get home, you might want to cleanse everything. Because nothing's here anymore and I don't know where it went.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, most definitely. That's like, yeah, because we actually left the room. It had the opposite effect. When we left the room, they actually started responding to the rest of the team. And it's just when we and her were there, it's like, no.
So, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just like, you know, I don't know if you've ever encountered where you might have a female that they respond to way more than a male, you know, or the other way around. It's the same thing with that. Somebody comes in and their energy, they just don't like for some reason, or it's too strong. They may not respond to them. You know, they might wait for them to leave, you know, or something just didn't rub right with them, you know?
Yeah. We've seen that on numerous, like I said, but I just remember one incident. Like I said, we had to literally leave the area and go in a different location of it because they were not getting any responses at all. And as soon as we walked away, everything started working and they started getting responses and stuff. So
it's
even like what I noticed with doing the SD, well, actually with the Delco, those goggles are really something when you put them on somebody who has some sort of abilities. Not just like I'm an empath, you know, but somebody more psychic medium. They it seems to really enhance what they're doing, you know, because the red light deprivation is supposed to enhance your psychic abilities.
Right.
So I've seen it really do some amazing things with some of our team members that, you know, they were getting two things. They were getting stuff coming through the white noise and then stuff coming through psychically that they were hearing and seeing on top of it, just from those lights, you know.
Did your wife, how did she feel about the goggles?
She liked them, you know. She was very surprised. She really was. She was really surprised to she really thought that she would be able to hear us. I think that was the main thing. She really thought she was going to be able to hear us. And then she really thought that any voice she heard was going to be something from a radio station, you know, which then when she was hearing clear responses, more than one word and stuff like that, you know, she realized that's not a radio station, you know. I know a lot of people argue it is, and, you know, but you know, that thing scans so fast. I mean, there's certain you will get certain music and certain words that come through, like a partial word, you know, that could influence you and put something in your head. But when you get a sentence, it's
Right.
it's a little different, or even multiple words or multiple syllables or something. It's not
or
coming from
something
one
that
state.
just fits totally with somebody asking, that's
Right.
amazing, especially the
Right.
first time you hear it for yourself.
Right.
It is.
It's like one of the things I teach people with recorders is, we'll be in a room and we'll set up, and usually 3-4 people will have recorders. Sometimes we'll even put a few down on the table. We'll use different ones. I'll sometimes run, my Tascam off to the side, just run it through the whole, investigation. Sometimes I have one of my wrist recorders on that just runs through the whole investigation. Because I tell them that if you get a really good EVP and you're just not sure, listen to the other recorders. Because
Right.
if we do a session and 3 people have it, then that's something natural, in my opinion. It's my opinion. There's no way that the spirit came through on 3 different devices at once saying the same word. We look at it more that if you get it on one device, we think it's them communicating through. I know some people think differently than me. They think the opposite. But if you get it on multiple devices, like if I have it here and my teammate's a little bit across the room and she gets the same noise or sounds like a word, to me, I'm going to take that as it picked up somebody in the hallway, somebody from the other room, because both of us got it.
I can see where you're going with that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
More of a natural side, because how did it come on both recorders? I mean, we have gotten sounds that we couldn't understand through multiple recorders that were slightly different. But if I hear a clear word, I'm going to assume that it was somebody or something from outside or something like that. If it's on both recorders, the same thing,
Yeah.
Maybe not, but that's my technical side that comes in and starts trying to figure everything out with that,
But see, everybody's different, and that's fine. That's great. That's easy to. I mean, it's good to learn their ways too.
Nobody knows everything.
No,
Nobody knows everything.
not at all.
I'm giving opinions. I've been doing it a long time, so I have a lot of education and experience behind me, but I don't know everything.
But I mean, that's a good way to look at it, though, too, because, like you said, that means you'd have to be in the same spot, and if it's in 2 different locations at the same time, yeah, I can understand that, where you're coming from with that. It does make a lot more sense, too.
That's why sometimes I'll have something like on the other side of the room. So if it was something really that we really had to look at, I could go back on that recorder, and if we get it on there, and you hear that mine's loud and the other one. Or mine was low, and on the other recorder it's loud. That means it was coming from something over there. Maybe it was on the other side of the wall. Maybe it was outside in the window. That's how we try to look at things, because it's sometimes you have no idea. Sometimes you cannot determine anything like that. But
that's true.
we try the best we can, because especially when we're working with clients, we want to give them the best possible explanations that we could give them, and I don't want to jump to conclusions. If you go into a place assuming it's haunted, you're going to believe it's haunted too. Assuming it's not, it's easier to disprove than it is. Go in and say like, this might not be anything, and then prove that it's something paranormal.
Yeah, that's one of the things, being the lead on the team. I tried to find out a little information about the location just for my team's safety and everything else. But in general, I'd rather not know anything at all than compare something after. It's like, okay, we've got these names, we've got these words. Have you guys heard something similar? Have you got it documented it? Because, then we can actually prove it. But I don't like really knowing a lot about a location when I go in.
Yeah, some team members I have, they like to research and know everything, and some like to know absolutely nothing. Especially more on the psychic side, they don't want to know much. They want to see what they get and then match it up later.
I like that too.
Even sometimes when we go out to public stuff, just they don't want to know. Like we did something up at the Devil's Tree in Port St. Lucie, and most of my team members did not know anything about it. Well, they've heard of the Devil's Tree, but they didn't know the story behind it. They just know about the tree and what it is. They didn't know the actual story behind it of the guy who killed the girls and the whole thing. And so they didn't want to know that. And we went there, and it was pretty interesting because the guy, his name is, I'm going to forget his name now. He was the first Florida serial killer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He was a cop, and he was luring girls into his cop car and bringing them back there and doing bad things to them and then killing them and, burying them under this tree and hanging them from the tree, different things. And
my brain is not working.
I'm drawing a total blank on his name. But the thing was, we were there, nobody knew. And we had multiple people doing the Delco, and three different people kept hearing the name Johnny. So then at the end, when we're all leaving, they were asking me the story, and I was telling them the story. And I said the guy's name, and we couldn't figure it out. And then I remembered, it was later on, I remembered that his middle name was John. That's why I can't think of his first name. His middle name was John. And I went to somebody that I trust, who's Mark Muncy. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a big historian down here. He writes a lot of the books like Erie, Florida, and all those things with all the lore and everything. He knows everything about Florida and beyond Florida. And I asked him, I said, I think we were doing a panel together at MegaCon. And I said, listen, so what name did he go by? And he said, friends used to call him Johnny. And that's what it was. We heard that 3 times from, 3 different people heard the name Johnny, and we couldn't piece it together. Now, I'm assuming that's what it was. I don't know 100%, but it was good to hear without telling somebody, hear them come back and just say that without me asking, and say that he was referred to by as Johnny at times. So, those are the things I like to definitely look for and try to. There it is, Gerard. Thank you, Asia.
Thank you,
Gerard. I could not remember the name.
I'm sitting here going,
I just popped it up on my phone when I was sitting here looking for it.
I was about to go search for it because that drives me crazy.
Me too.
Yeah. But it was great to hear that from Mark that he went by Johnny, because the other part was one of my teammates. It was funny. They were here. It was one of their first investigations with us outside, and they said, "Hey, we're coming from Orlando, and we have a friend with us. If it's all right, we bring him." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a public investigation, His name was Johnny. So he was getting a little freaked out, I think, because everybody kept saying Johnny, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" And I'm like, I don't know. We didn't know at the time, so we were all, joking with him a bit. But my favorite place used to be, we used to go up to it was in a 280-acre abandoned prison in the middle of the sugarcane fields in Belglade, Florida.
Oh, wow.
It was an amazing place, and they demolished it a couple of years ago. Luckily, was able to go there a bunch of times. It was a very active place, a lot of fun, and it was fun to take my newer members, because if people come and they're like, yeah, I want to do this, I like this, I'm into this, or whatever, and I interview them, I talk to them, but then bring them out to a prison at 1:00 in the morning in the sugarcane fields. You'll see if they really want to do this. But the place was really, the place was really, really active, and it was a great place. But you know what happens? People come in and do all stupid things, and I don't even want to blame. I don't want to blame the gangs. There's a lot of gangs there, especially in Belglade. Belglade is gang infested, but. It's not the gangs. That's what people don't understand. The gangs don't want to, like, the last time they shut it down was when it was a bunch of kids went in and they burnt down the church.
Oh no.
Like, the gangs aren't going to do that. They're not going to disturb their place where nobody can, come and find them. It's a 280-acre prison. The cops didn't go there much, So the gangs aren't going to go and burn down a church to draw attention to themselves. They're just stupid people.
Yeah.
And then they ruin for everybody else.
That's how it is sometimes. Yes.
So, yeah. That was a fun place. I will say this: if you get a chance, have either of you been to St. Augustine?
No, but I want to.
Okay, love St. Augustine. I go there almost every year. My wife will probably say, "No, I don't want to go anymore." She's sick of going. We go every year, like through New Year's and stuff. Just go up. It's a great place to just go and relax. But there's a lot of stuff for me to also do. And when we were there last year for New Year's, we went to the People with Ghost and Gravestones tours. They were real great. They comped me into the old jail tour, and the old jail at night is great because this wasn't. It's still a public tour, but it's more of a hands-on investigation. They have a lot of equipment for people. The tour guides were fantastic. I love them. They talked a lot like I did. Like they were not telling people, these are orbs. These are they were explaining to them the real stuff. And because they don't need to lie to them or explain, because this place is active. I wasn't sure what to think, it's a small jail, but wow. There was one thing that honestly kind of blew me away that I could not figure out. I could not explain it. It's one of the few things I could not explain no matter what I did. In the room that was the sheriff's room, he lived there with his wife. Her name was Lulu. They have, since it is a museum, they have artifacts. So they have like some stuff that was Lulu's. And one of them is her old, 1940s typewriter or whatever it is. One of those old metal typewriters. And we were standing in the room. I was there with one of my friends and her daughter. And we were in the room and it was off to my left. And all of a sudden I hear click. And I look over and I heard click, click on the typewriter. And I'm like, now they tell you don't touch anything, but sorry. I've been there for a long time. I picked that thing up. I had my flashlight because I was 100% positive that thing was rigged. I really was. I was insistent it was rigged. There was nothing in it. It was just a metal typewriter, an old metal typewriter. There was nothing. And I can't explain that, There's things you can explain, like there was like a wardrobe thing behind us, and the door creaked open too while that thing was clicking. the door opened. Now, again, it was a very interesting coincidence. I don't have it on film because we're facing the other way, and it came behind us. But okay, a door can open from many, many things. They could open a door. The draft could have. There's many things that could have. Right. But there is no way that typewriter was clicking. It's not like an electric typewriter. It's an old metal typewriter. Right. So if you get a chance, go to the nighttime. It's from 12 to 3 in the morning, and it's a really, really good tour. And the people there are really good. They have it looks like they raided the ghost stop because they have so much equipment in there. They have spirit boxes for everybody. They have EMF. They have Ovulus. They have so many different devices, and they have like a portal set up, and they have trip wires in one room, and music, motion music boxes and things set up all over the place, and it's fun. I think they only allow 12 people, and what they do is they split them up, 6 upstairs, 6 downstairs, and then after half the time they flip them, and it's an old, like really like stone jail, so you can't really hear the people upstairs, especially if you go down, you go into the solitary things, and it was an interesting experience. I went twice while I was up there that week. The other time I called up and I said, hey, can I get in? And they got me in real quick. I was the 13th person. They were real nice about it.
They like you.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And St. Augustine, people say, well, where do you go in St. Augustine? What's haunted? Everything. Go to the grocery store. It's haunted.
Yeah.
everything there. It's a lot of fun. It is.
Did you go to the lighthouse there?
I've been on the lighthouse before. I didn't do it then, Again, I'm there on vacation, so my wife doesn't mind if I go out sometimes, but I try not to do too much because I'm on vacation. But if they want to get me in somewhere, I'm going.
Of course, you got to do a little. She can go and say, "Honey, go shopping. I'll go ghost hunting." Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would definitely say the jail. Out of all the things I've been to there, the jail is definitely my top.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if you look for people who just want to go on a fun tour, like the Ghost and Gravestones tour, they go on a little trolley. It is a lot of fun. It's commercialized, but it's a lot of fun. And they do take you to the jail. They do take you to. They change it all the time. I think the Wax Museum, and you do learn a lot of history of St. Augustine. It is really good. It's a lot of fun.
History.
It's not gonna be a big investigative tour like the jail at night, but it's definitely a fun tour.
Right.
I've been on theirs there and the one down in Key West. Yeah. Key West, another great place. You got to go to Key West. Have you seen Robert the Doll?
No, no. Nope. The last time I went to Key West was years ago. I did love it, but back then I wasn't in the now. Yeah. But I gotta go. I don't know.
Robert,
to him? Did you talk to Robert?
Yeah, I've known Robert for many, many, many years. I'm good friends with David Sloan that takes care of him and does the tour and wrote the books. And David is such a great guy. And every time we go down there, I've seen Robert many times. Robert is fine as long as you're respectful.
Yeah,
if you're respectful to him, you have nothing to worry about, really. People get very frightened over it. Just be respectful. David even talks about it now. He says he doesn't truly believe the whole thing about asking permission, but it's like if you see the thing on the wall that says you have to ask permission and you look at it and go, oh, that's stupid, that's disrespectful.
Right.
It's not really about asking the permission. It's about being respectful, but his tour, he's a historian. He knows everything about the Keys. Key West is he knows everything. So when you go in that tour, they teach you all the haunted history of the museum, which is a lot, the fort there. And then they take you into the room with Robert now, and they turn the lights out, they lock it down, they bring out equipment and actually investigate with Robert in the room. And they've had some pretty wild things happen, everything from, equipment going off to one guy, I think they said his cross burnt him and he had like a little burn mark on his chest cross. So there's a lot of different things there that have gone on, and it's an interesting place. It's definitely worth the trip, and
definitely check that out. Yeah.
There's a lot of things down there too. There's a lot of different places down there. Definitely have to see Robert go there. I have my little Robert back in the case there. Where is he? Back there with Annabelle.
I see Annabelle, but maybe my vision is not the best.
The white one right next to him is
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that little Robert forever. My wife hates those dolls. She does not appreciate those dolls at all. I have another one. You can't see it there, but it's on the other side of Annabelle. David sent it to me for Christmas. I think it was last year. It's Robert, but it's a Elf on the Shelf Robert. He's
my goodness.
See, now that's the Elf on the Shelf that may move around.
Oh wow! Now, did you have to prank your wife at all? Have you done that at all?
My wife hated when that thing came in the mail because I had no idea who was sending it. It has a little picture with it, and it has a date, and it says, "I spent the night with Robert," and it shows him on top of the glass. So they left him overnight on the glass, and it has a certificate showing he spent the night with Robert. And then he sent me an 8x10 of Robert that has a little rock on it, and I'm going, what the hell is that? I was looking for it.
Yeah.
And then I flipped it over, and she definitely does not like this. I flipped it over, and it says, "A piece of the fort." So it's a rock from the fort where he lives.
Oh wow!
Uh-oh.
And I am. I do have that in here, but I am usually a strict person on telling my team do not take anything home from a location, but that was said to me different, like one of my teammates, I'm going to call her out, Allison. We were at the prison and we were in the medical facility, and inside the medical facility, there were x-rays, patient x-rays, all over the floor and everywhere. Mm-hmm. And she picked them up and she's like, wow, these would make a cool art project. And I'm like, no, do not take an inmate x-ray home with you. You have no idea what's attached to that, So yeah, she would have definitely taken them.
That would be interesting, but not a good idea.
It's tempting. It's tempting. I know people who collect things from every location they go to, and I probably would but I'd be kicked out of the house.
She'd be like, no more.
I'd have my own little museum in the back. Yeah, but I can't. The imitations are hard enough.
Oh yeah, especially if they spent the night with the real thing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Right.
I like that.
Is there?
So I know it's a little over an hour, which is fine, but I have to ask: do you have a bucket list of places that you have not gone that you would like to go? Sorry.
Most places. The thing is, I have not gotten out to a lot of big known places across the country. Simply because I haven't had a lot of time, it is tough to get out and do a lot of these. We do have jobs. And then also on top of it, I do a lot of conventions. I do a lot of speaking engagements. And we do a lot of residential cases. So yeah, there's a lot of places there. I'll be honest, my main thing is overseas. I went to Italy 2 years ago. It was the greatest trip I've ever been on, but I didn't do any investigating. I did bring equipment with me, and I wanted to do it. Like, we went to the I would love to get into like the Colosseum, and but you can't do it during the day. There's 8,000 people in there there's no way you could do anything during the day. Right. And to get permission, Italy, we know from having people there, Italy is not the easiest place to allow you into places to investigate. They're not really big on it.
Oh wow.
I'd like to go to like Ireland, go to some of the castles and things like that. But I will give people a little bit of advice. If you're traveling out of the States, or maybe even within the States, be careful of bringing your equipment. So I went to Italy, and luckily going to Italy wasn't so bad. And then on the way home, we stopped in London for a few days, and then we came back. So my wife used to live in London too. On the way out of London, it was a nightmare because I had most of that equipment I am not putting in my suitcase. So I had it in my carry-on. And picture the carry-on going through the scanner, and in there is a REM pod, which looks straight out like a bomb. We
were just talking about that earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a REM pod. I had a static dome. I had the DR60. I had the Ovulus. I had a few devices in there, and they were freaking out. They opened that thing up. They took every device out. They were scanning each one. I had to take out one of the magazines I was in that I had with me and show them who I was and explain what it was. And they kept us there for a while. But at the end, the guy said, I got to remember this. This is a first. So just be careful. Like, your recorder and whatever they're going to see, it's a recorder. But I was pushing it. I was pushing the limits with the REM pod.
Yeah, me and Gwen were
talking about.
Yeah, we were talking about what was I going to bring down there with me. And I was like, well, I don't know. With some of the stuff that's going on now, I don't know if I want to go to the scanner with it.
It's a tough thing because most of those people don't know what that stuff is. You try to explain it to them. They're just looking at you like, sure.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you do what? What do you do? Yeah. That look.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my team shirt when I get on the plane. So I'm sure I'm gonna have a bunch of questions when I'm walking through.
Yeah. I do that at places too. And, but I really wanted to go to Bobby Mackey's before they tore it down. I never got the opportunity. We were trying to plan a trip with the team to do like Waverly Hills and Bobby's at the same weekend,
Mhm.
which is a lot. But because they're like 2 hours apart. So I that was one of definitely on my bucket list. I'm a little disappointed it shut down, or not shut down, but they wiped it and they're rebuilding it. And I know they are keeping some of the things there, whatever. If they allow it again, I'll go in. But that was definitely at the top of one of my lists, but definitely overseas. I want to go to some places that are old, and
Yes.
have that history. That's why St. Augustine is so great, because it's the oldest city in the U.S., so it has the oldest history that you can find,
Yeah, true.
So overseas, we're nothing compared to what's been around over there. Scotland and Ireland and all those places. So many places to go. So yeah, I definitely I will say this. The only place I really investigated a little bit was when we were in London. I took out my recorder. I went with my wife and we went and found Amy Winehouse's house. And we went outside because I said, this will be the greatest piece of evidence if I get someone singing across that recorder.
Oh my goodness,
any
yes.
bit of a song coming through that recorder, and I would be doing cartwheels with that. But didn't really catch much. But we were just outside in the little park that was directly across the street where they have like a little memorial stuff, and
Mhm.
I think people were walking by and looking at us like we were nuts. But
You did happen to mention one thing here a little while ago. I got some friends over in the UK as well, and they said it's really hard to get in certain locations, and that you got to get permission and stuff in advance. Why do you think it's so different over there compared to here?
I think they respect it a little more. Here now, every place that is slightly haunted becomes the most haunted place in the world, and we got to charge $5,000 there for 4 hours to get in, and everybody's making a fortune, and they'll let anybody in and do whatever they want. Over there they're more respectful of the history, and they don't want people coming in, I think, and just throwing everything up on YouTube and TikTok and making a mockery out of the location. A lot of them are like that. I've heard some stories through people. I'm part of the Ghost Club, which is the oldest psychic club. It's all parapsychologists and everything from like the 1800s. It's a little different there. It's the same thing with like Italy, and I heard like I was on a podcast in Japan, and Haunted Japan, and or Spooky Japan, and they say that in Japan it's the same thing. They do not allow you to investigate. You're not allowed at all. I don't know. It's a different thing there, but it's kind of like a respect to the dead. But I think in the UK and some of these places, they're getting it more of just a respect to the locations. It's too many people. They're becoming, some of these places too, they're becoming oversaturated. What a lot of people don't realize, if 400 people a night are going through a location, it might not be anything haunting from the location. It's all the energy and what people are bringing in there and manifesting it into those places. People don't realize that you could go and have a place that's not haunted and just investigate in it, and you keep investigating. You bring people in and tell them it's haunted, and they investigate, and guess what? There's going to be activity in there. Some of it is going to be manifested energy, and some of it could be something that you brought in.
Well, most definitely. Yeah.
It's I think they should definitely respect it a bit, but they're getting a little carried away with some of the fees that they're charging at some of these places.
They really are more.
You see the amount of drama coming around them now because of it. There's a lot of places that are, we're not going to mention names, but there's locations you can't even really go to anymore because of all the problems.
I know Alcatraz is outlandish to go to, because I know somebody was looking into that, and that's very expensive to stay there.
Yeah. That, see, to me, something like that's kind of worth it because that's not an easy thing to get to, and the history of that place is just crazy.
I mean, if you take a group and bust it up between several of you, it wouldn't be so bad. But man, it's really expensive if you just got a small team going.
Yeah, that's the thing. Good thing about having a big team. I always used to say, if you ask some of my my original team members. They'll tell you, I always used to say, I even used to lecture about it. I don't want a big team. We had like 6 people. I'm like, I'm good with this. And now all of a sudden I have like 27 people across like, how many states, and, it's because I've come across people that I really care about and I think are just amazing investigators, and that's why I bring them on. Our Georgia team, our Nebraska team. My New England team is Joe, Joe Franklin. So,
he's a team of his own. Okay,
he's the team of his own right now. But they're all such amazingly gifted people, and they're really invested in what they're doing and trying to help people the right way. So I don't mind expanding out because it's not a problem. We don't have drama in our team. We don't do it. I won't allow it. And, we may all watch what goes on out there, but we don't get involved.
It's almost like a train wreck. You can't look away sometimes, but unfortunately.
Sometimes I just got to click off it and say, nope, I'm done. I can't watch it anymore. Nope, forget it.
And I started, I'm originally from New Jersey, so I started up there. I've been down here since 98, though. So I've been down here a good amount now, and my team, like we were talking about earlier before we came on, I formed my team because I was tired of dealing with the drama of other teams. It is a lot to run a team and make everybody happy and keep everything good and do it, but it's worth it when you can control who's on it and not have those issues, because I was on some teams that were just horrible. The things they were doing I didn't agree with. The people were just a nightmare. It's competition. It shouldn't be a competition ever.
Right. I think the best feeling in the world, is in the fact of being a lead on the team is when you got your team that you can go in there and actually help the people and understand what's going on in their house, and then get a satisfaction afterwards. Thanks for coming to help me. You made me understand this, etc. That's the best thanks you could ever get. Letting them know what exactly is going on there and being honest with them, and don't make it a lot of drama. Just go in there and do what you're supposed to and help them understand what's going on in their house.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's those people, a lot of them, look, we get some that are full of it and making stuff up. And, sometimes you'll get, that's why we weed them out, pretty good. Sometimes we'll get people that are like, you show up. We went to, I'll give you an example. I had a case up in Jupiter, I think it was up that way somewhere in Florida, up by Jupiter. Within a half hour, all of a sudden the doorbell rings and they brought friends over and things like that. It's like, it's not a party, it's not like we're here, like you hired a magician, if they're part of the case and they experience something, by all means bring them so that they could give us some insight on what they experienced or whatever. But we do get that sometimes, but for the most part, you'll see some of the people are frightened, and you want to go in and you want to help them and get out. And what people should understand is they should be happy when we tell them it's nothing. They should be happy that we're telling them that. Some are,
Some are, but some are like, oh no. Yeah. So. Oh, sorry. They just, I'm thinking about a case right now where, somebody told them something.
I have a lot, and the first thing, I can't tell you the amount of calls I'll get and be like, listen, we believe we have a demon.
Oh no.
Everybody believes they have a demon. And I've done well over 1,000 residential cases. I get called in by other teams and people to help assess if a case could be demonic, as a demonologist.
Right. Yeah.
So I've been on many cases where I was called in. I've been on 7 confirmed demonic cases in 36 years. So it's rare. It is out there, but it's rare, Those are frightening things. It does exist. It is real frightening. I never look forward to them. I'll do it to help people, but I definitely do not look forward to those cases. They are some of the things will haunt me for the rest of my life. Honestly, it is scary. That's why we tell people, don't provoke things, don't do things, don't throw holy water around your house, don't do things to if it happens to be something you don't want to deal with it, get somebody to help you. And if you're a team and you're experiencing something that it's not what you normally experience, call somebody like me that does what I do. Call somebody in. Call another team that knows. Like I know the people on War Party. They may call me in if they get something like that, because they may not have the same experience as I've had over these years with the demonic cases. And you want to make sure what it is, because you can endanger yourself, your team, and the client. If you don't know what you're doing. And we've had that. We've had people go in and stir stuff up, not even demonic, but stir stuff up because they didn't know what they were doing. You pull out, if you think it's demonic and you pull out sage, that's not going to do anything.
No doubt. Yeah.
The demon's kind of just like taking that in, like, thank you. That's really not going to do anything.
Yeah, thanks. Got more? Yeah.
And then slap in the face afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, also I tell teams, when you go in, don't just cleanse the house. Teach the family how to cleanse. Teach them what it is and how to do it correctly, because they need to be able to take care of their own situation. Because if they keep doing some of the things they do in their own lifestyle, they're going to bring it back. They're going to do different things. Like, we've had people that are big, antique collectors. That's fine, but cleanse the stuff. Learn how to cleanse it properly. Just taking sage and burning it and throwing it around the house does nothing. It's about your intent and what you're saying with it,
Exactly.
and just teach them. You got to give them a little education. They got to understand. Sometimes it's about teaching the client how to change their lifestyle. Sometimes it's their lifestyle creating that negative energy in the house.
Yeah, the way they talk, the way they manifest it, and it just keeps coming back no matter what. And then you try to explain that to them and have them switch. Yeah, they're just shaking their head.
Right. Like in parapsychology, we've learned that there's been a lot of studies that have shown poltergeist activity is actually energy caused by teenagers in the house, especially female teenagers. Yes. A little more on the female side, just because their energy shift is so strong during like puberty that it can actually move things in the house. Mm-hmm. And that's why there's so much arguing and so much fighting and so much, sometimes it's a matter of cleansing the energy in the house and things will kind of clear up. And straighten out. We've had people fighting, husbands and wives, parents and kids, and we cleanse the house. We use singing bowls. We use all different types of things, cleansing energy. And all of a sudden, that negative energy goes away. They stop fighting, which is a big deal. So any way that we can help them, any way you can help them is good.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
So would you like to tell us anything that you have coming up that you can talk about? I understand that. Sure.
There's still a lot of things I'm not saying yet that aren't 100% confirmed.
Exactly.
I will be, let's see, I think next Friday night I'm going to be on Bishop Long's podcast. I believe he's only audio with it though, but I believe it's live though. I'm going to be on his podcast. I've known Bishop Long for a long time. I'm going to be at the Connecticut Paracon in July. I think it's 12th and 13th. I'm excited to be up there because there's a lot, like I said, there's so many people going there that I know, but I've never met in person.
Yeah, like us or me.
Yes.
Sean, I'm not sure yet. Yeah.
Pretty much almost everybody. I mean, I know Joe. Most of the other people there I know for years and years, but I've never met them in person, So I do have UltraCon in, I'm going to get the dates wrong. UltraCon is in West Palm Beach in September. I believe it's like the 19th or 20th that weekend. I'm going to get yelled at if I say the wrong dates. So I have that coming up. There's going to be a bunch of other things. I I just can't confirm it yet. I'm just waiting for confirmations on dates and everything.
Right.
So that's I think that's everything I have right now, just set. But I'm excited, and like I said, I got 2 big projects that are coming up. One that does involve, the Warrens, and Joe Frankie and all that, and the other one is with the team in Brazil. That is going to be it's not just about the team. It's about a whole thing that's being put together that has to do with investigating and education. And it's going to be a really amazing thing. And I'll come back on and gladly talk about it when it's all out there.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
Sure.
For sure. Did Gwen freeze up? I think Gwen froze up a little bit.
There she is. She's back.
But yeah, we'd love to have you back on in the future, especially when you get all the information ready to go.
Yeah, sure. Anytime. Like I said, when we're ready with the other thing, we could get me and Joe together. Awesome. We'll come on and talk about that.
That'd be cool.
Yes.
That'd definitely
be please. Cool. That would be cool.
Yes. And that will be definitely before
in Asia. Anytime you want to come on, you come on too. Yeah.
Yes, for anybody who doesn't know it, cool. Asia is my manager now. So all my stuff goes through Asia. She's been great.
It's awesome. I see her pop up in a lot of our podcasts, and she's asked a lot of questions sometimes as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I talked to her too. Well, I messaged with her today. That's talking to some of us. Yeah.
Right.
She keeps freezing up. Is there any place that they put? I'm tongue tied. Gotta spit it out here. The locations where people can find you.
Oh yeah. Well, for me, it's simple. My website is billslevin.com. My team site, if you need help, is PersFL. So it's PersFL.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm getting yelled at because I don't do my social media as much. I'm on Facebook a lot, but I do have Instagram. I do have TikTok that I'm starting up. And that's right. I will announce this because I got to keep announcing it. It pushes me. Sometime this year, I will be launching my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, I've been yelled at for many, many years from my wife, from my friends, from fans when I'm at conventions and stuff, all getting mad why I don't have a YouTube channel. It will not be a weekly investigation. There will be some investigating. There'll be some educating. There'll be some historical stuff. There'll be some interviews because I have, I'm connected to a lot of people. So there will be a lot of different things. It will be a big love of the paranormal all around. So it will go out this year. I pushed myself to make sure I announce it, and it is there now. It's at all my social media is Slevin Paranormal. So all Instagram, everything, it's just at Slevin Paranormal. You could go and subscribe to it. There's nothing on there yet except the graphic header, but it will be coming this year, and I'm expecting it to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. I needed the time to do it. I didn't have the time.
All right.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So anything else you want to put out there before we get off of here?
I think that's everything. I probably forgot something. But next time.
That's okay. You can come back. You can message, and we will be glad to any projects you have that you want to share out there. We'll be glad to help you out with that.
Yeah,
and thank you for coming on very much.
Thank you
and
for having me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And last minute, so you helped out. So I appreciate it more than you know.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I am going to drop you back. If you hold on just a second, and we'll talk for just a minute. And thank you again. And we're going to close it out.
All right.
So he's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. If you guys ever get a chance to go to a Paracon where he's at, definitely go check him out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, do. And he's got some projects coming up that we're going to help announce for him too. And hopefully him and his friends will come on and help us, put it out there for him.
Most definitely. Like I said, he's a great guy, and he's wanting to help the people, and he doesn't do a lot of the drama, which is great. And he's willing to work with everybody, and that's awesome. And that's hard to find sometimes in this field. So
it is.
Yeah, that's something that's really impressive. So yeah, definitely go check out Bill at some of the Paracons if you get a chance.
Absolutely. So you have anything to announce?
Well, this week I have Mr. Blaine Rohan. He'll be my guest this week on Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. And then the following week, we'll have a guest before I actually take off, and I'll be coming down to South Carolina to visit you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
you will. You'll be coming to our powwow, so that'll be cool.
I'll actually have 2 shows live with Ms. Gwen in the next couple of weeks.
That should be interesting. Well, you guys, we're going to get out of here. We had a great guest, and anybody who tuned in or will tune in the future, just thank you very much. And hopefully you'll come back next week.
And everybody, thanks for stopping in and asking questions as well.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys have a good night.
Night, guys.